Hello, welcome to Laura's Painted Minis. I'm Laura. Today we're going to work on this Mammoth Mount a bunch more. And I have gotten a start on the NMM, as you can see. Just need to revive my mix paints. I hope you all are having a good Monday. Been sort of a tough one for me. My toddler's being kind of cranky because he's waking up earlier. And also found out that my brother-in-law was found dead, so yesterday. So not a great start to the day. Sorry about that. I am just doing a more thorough um, stirring of my paints. They seem a bit thin. I guess while I'm at it, I'll go move the cat cam so you can actually see the cat. It's just a wet brush moving since the paint is still kind of wet. I'm gonna add in some more, let that dry, and I'm gonna add some more paint. See, I think the paint is too thin. So for this, for my NMMs on this one, I am using coal black, cloudy gray, and pure white. And that's it. See that? Remixing. That's a lot better. Still thin enough that it'll blend well. But now it's not so thin that you can barely see it. Was kind of have gotten to layering consistency, which is not really what I like for when I'm doing NMM, especially when I'm trying to do it quickly. Okay, I think those are much better consistency. Now make sure we're on camera. Here we go. This should be a lot better. The thing that I struggle most is getting that, making sure I still keep that darkest shadow near the highlight, and then also making sure my white, I still get my spot touches of white here. At least for the stuff that's going to be actually in getting hit by direct light. There is a lot of venom on this one, which is kind of the reason I started doing it now instead of leaving it for last. Because I know it's going to take me probably the most time to actually paint on this mini, even though the fur probably covers more area. It's just that NMM, when you do it, there's a lot more going back and forth than like with doing the fur. The fur is, it's pretty straightforward, and you're also not trying to get smooth blends. When you do fur, that is. Since these are plates that are kind of technically a rounded shape of a sort, it's not like perfectly rounded surface. Um, yeah, because of that, you kind of have to play a lot even more with where the light, like where the shiny part is going to be. Now this is in shadow, and so this is going to be staying a lot darker. I'm not going to go pure height all the way up to a pure white for a highlight. That highlight that I was using right before the pure highlight, that's going to be that touch highlight pretty much. We got some some overlap here between the fur and in the armor. I think that will work. Yeah, I know it's hard, kind of hard to see. There's a lot of things that are getting in the way. I'm trying to make it so that you can see what I'm doing. It's getting to be a bit too much. And I'm kind of trying to be somewhat methodical as I work my way around. Oh, for this reason, so I don't miss anything. I forgot to do this little ring type thing that's connecting or holding the two straps together here. For these smaller pieces, I'm just doing basically the shadow, midtone, and the whatever I'm using for the highlight. For these undersides, I'm not going pure white because again, not in direct. It's not in direct light, whatever the light is. So this is just getting. This would just only have like reflected light. All right, got those touched up a bit. Go ahead and probably start working on the shield here, just so that I kind of get everything that's on this side done. So here, and then probably will do these bits on the tusks. So once I get to this, that will probably make me start turning and going to this side. And it's very purposeful that the paint got wiped away here because I forgot that I wasn't going to do all of this in metal, because you can kind of see, oh, maybe not on camera, here kind of all in here a bit is a bit more elevated than like the rest of this, so that makes me think that this is just all leather armor It's just only some actual, or sorry, leather. Did I say metal? I'm a little tired. Dealing with a cranky 2-year-old, 2.5-year-old who's also getting up earlier than he has been is sort of taking me out of, taking the breath out of the sails, the wind out of the sails, whatever the the phrases, various phrases all put together. All right. So I will probably do something similar to what I did with these shields, only this is a lot bigger, so I might be able to pull out a bit more details. And I probably could come back with my wood color and just do little touches or something here and there, because it is big enough. I can easily get the this number 2 brush. With having a fine tip, that is, I can. And I know it's not the cleanest thing in the world as far as my painting goes. Starting off by getting the shadows in. I had base coated it in like my second darkest shadow. And I'm also using this shadow color a little bit as a liner too in some areas. I'll probably ultimately come back with like either brown liner or maybe even use up the rogue shadow that I have. Since I have it, might as well use it and probably come back in some of these areas where things meet up, especially around the fur, to just kind of make them pop out a bit more. I am also thinking I need to go back over the fur with a bit more highlight in some areas too. But that is for what I call the touching up stages. I knew I got the fur where I wanted it for the most part. But I also knew that depending on how the rest of the mini turned out, that I might need more highlights. Go. Now, even though this shield is bigger, I think I'm gonna probably still stick with just shadow, midtone, and highlight instead of using my other in-between colors, because there's really not actually that much surface area still. It's still a pretty small amount of space that I have. Up here. So right about there is going to be where there will be a highlight. And then this kind of basically also acts as reflected light too. Kind of see that. I'm trying to get some of these areas where I can actually get to that underside of that well, under edge, I guess, sort of. So get into that with this mid-tone to get the look of reflective light. I'm gonna get out with my tiny brush for these guys. It's still very small. Again, even though, yeah, still very small, even though it's bigger than the other shields. That just means it's a little easier. It's going to be possible to actually show the wood on this, whereas these tiny shields, and it's realistic with how tiny those shields are and how far away you'd actually be from a distance. That's what you'd see. You would just see, you'd really only be able to see the light shining off of the metal parts. You wouldn't actually be able to see the wood, even though there is. I think whoever sculpted this probably did it in 3D, because I recall thinking that there was some actual wood sculpted. Downside of a tiny brush is I have to pretty much dip it back into paint like every time I do a new I have to remember not to wait too long in between dipping it into the paint and putting it onto the mini. Otherwise I have to go back. And that's nothing to do with the quality of the brush. That's just the fact that because it's a small brush. So it really cannot hold very much paint. So if that's something that's frustrating to you, understand that to some degree it has nothing to do with you as a painter and how well you paint. It's just the reality of using a small, tiny brush. Also makes it very tempting to overload the brush and then get paint up in the ferrule and ruin the brush. And that was definitely me for a while. I had to just stop using tiny brushes and just be okay that there might be some things details and stuff that I couldn't do as well for a while until I got better at um, loading the brush. I mean, it's essentially, in general, it's like getting better at taking care of your brush while you're painting. But specifically, getting better at not overloading the brush. I still end up doing it from time to time. But then that's also why I got into a habit of rinsing my brush more often, even if I'm not done with a color. I could probably still rinse it even more often than what I do. And that would just make it last even longer. So this is the mid-tone color. These ones up on the top half, I'm gonna go over a couple more times. Kind of help set up where I'm gonna put the highlights. Similar to what I did on the other shields. You can see that it's more so just the top half, so it's really got bright highlights. I did do some of this mid-tone on the bottom half still, just like I did on this. Like I said, the main difference is going to be the fact that I can actually come back in with the wood color and with the highlight that I had for the wood, which is just driftwood brown, because I wanted to go with kind of a weathered, grayed out brown for the wood. We're almost out of time. Time goes by fast when you're doing NMM. The other thing I can do with this bigger shield is I can actually pull up these details in the center. Because if you look, well, looking closely at the smaller shields, there's this pretty much exact same thing sculpted on the smaller shields. But they're just so small. They're so tiny. Definitely one of those things I don't think the person who sculpted it thought as much about. About how it was going to be painted. But it is cool looking nonetheless. I'm going to try and just get so close to finishing this shield, really. So I'm going to try and finish it here. So we'll go a little bit over time. I will definitely still be working on this come Thursday. So if you're having to leave, then, you know, this will be what we're working on again. Hopefully I'm pretty close to being done with the NMM by then. Here's the white highlight. There's a part there that doesn't want to get. Not sure what happened there. Looks a little weird. I don't think you can see it on camera though. Oh, you can see it a little bit. I'll fix it. I probably just accidentally went over some paint that was already mostly drying. It's kind of the other danger with using such a tiny brush is that once you put the paint on, you can't really work it too much because it's just going to be very little paint that you have to work with. And kind of put it directly across from the top highlight for that bottom. It kind of fixed it. May have to just wait for everything to fully dry. So let's zoom out and take a peek. Take a look at what we did today. So we finished up this little small armor, the NMM on that, touched up some stuff on this one, and we did the shield, the NMM on the shield. So yay, more progress. We still got all of that to do. All of the stuff on the box is done pretty much. There might be some things I go back and touch up a bit, just depending on how everything else looks. Again, that will be something probably doing more in the touch-up stages, or if I'm all done with the rest of the NMM and there's just something glaring obvious that I need to touch up there. But yeah, otherwise that's it for the stream. So if you enjoy my painting, go ahead and get a like and subscribe there. Just now noticing some things are out of place on my screen, so I'll get that fixed. But yeah, and then if you want to support me on a monthly basis, I do have a Patreon, and I'm going to be working on a video for that, the top tiers. I have 3 tiers. One is $4, and that'll get you monthly PDFs for me on the same topic of the video. The top 2 tiers get the PDF plus video, plus other stuff, social shout outs, etc. At the second tier is $9.99, and then the top tier is $15, which gets you all of that stuff plus a discount on commissions. And that one I do have capped at how many people can subscribe at that tier, just because it's pretty big extra with getting a discount. So and that would apply to any commissions that you get from me, hence why I'm limiting it. Anyway, hope you enjoy. Hope you have a good Monday and Tuesday, Wednesday, and I will see you Thursday evening at 8:30 p.m. Central Time. Have a good day. Bye.